Let us pray. May I have your attention, please? Not you. Let us pray. Gracious God, we pray for your protection, provision for all of our students in the community. We thank you for their curiosity, their hope, and their kindness. I pray that our students are knowledgeable and skillful in all wisdom, discernment, and understanding. For I know that it is a gift from you, Lord. I pray that they are competent to learn whatever they need to know, and that your Spirit fills them fully in all things. Because their foundation starts with you, I am truly grateful. We pray for the faculty and staff in every school. Thank you for giving them dedication, experience, and insight. Please sustain them by your Spirit with creativity, with patience, and joy. Continually guide and bless our superintendent, the central office staff, and this Board of Education. Amen. The meeting of the Montgomery County Board of Education is now called to order. And now we will stand for the raising of the colors. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'd like to thank Carver High School. I see that we have a quorum present. Can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Madam President, I move that we adopt the revised agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second. All in favor, let it be known by raising your hands.
I've got one thing. If we don't agree to the consent agenda, is this the point where we say we want to revise the consent? Because there's two things I want taken off the consent.
Yes.
So this is where I say that?
This is where you say
Okay, I move that on the consent agenda that we vote on C. Let's see, certified personnel. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. Vote on A and H separately. A and H, the personnel report, certified personnel, and also the Holy Cross thing.
Okay. Can I get a motion for the revised?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that we accept approve the revised agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by raising your hand. Carried. Okay. At this time, we will go into executive session.
Madam President. Oh, sorry.
The board will go into executive session to discuss real property. We should be in executive session for approximately 15 minutes. During the executive session, no votes will be taken.
I'm sorry, I meant to call attention that in the September 10th board minutes, I'm sorry, September 12th board minutes, there needed to be a correction. Oh, I don't do that now.
Later.
Okay, sorry. Still learning.
So a motion to go into executive
We need a
session.
motion
Oh,
to
okay,
go
I make a
into-
motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
Oh, it has been all in favor? So carried. We will proceed to executive session.
People are here. I think more people are here.
Okay. Please note that the executive session will start at 5 minutes till 6. The executive session has been completed. No decisions were made during the meeting, and we will now reconvene the board meeting at 5:55. Okay. At this time, I would, like our President Claire Wheel always says, it's time for some good news. First of all, I would just like to say congratulations to our new mayor and the newly elected city council members. We look forward to working with all of our community stakeholders in order to make sure that we improve education in the Montgomery Public School system. So let's give our newly elected officials a round of applause. We're happy to welcome them. Okay, and actually, we have some wonderful news. I was very excited about the progress of that our schools are making in their academic performance. Last Friday, the State Board of Education released its report card, and MPS made some significant improvements. And overall, we maintained our C grade, but we did improve by at least 4 points. And 38 of our 48 schools receiving a grade showed some improvement, so that's a big deal. And 29 of our schools had 5% or higher in growth, and 9 of our schools improved by double digits. So MPS is truly moving forward. And each magnet school that had a traditional component earned an A, which meant that they moved from 6 to 8. And the number of B's and C's that we received rose, and the combined number of D's and F's decreased from 29 to 21 this year. So, and the number of F's dropped dramatically to 6. So we're excited about that. And we also had improvement in the category of chronic absenteeism. And we dropped from 17.4% to 11.9%. Now, we know that we aren't where we need to be yet, but we are moving forward. And please join the board in congratulating Dr. Moore and our staff, and most of all, our teachers and our students for their outstanding accomplishment. And we will be hearing more about the report card in the future from Mr. Mitchell as we move on. So let's give them a round of applause. Okay, at this time, we'll have remarks from Mr. Salter.
Thank you very much, Madam President, board members, and Dr. Moore, and honored guests. We appreciate you being here and waiting for this very important part of our program where we recognize positive things. This evening, we're going to recognize an outstanding school that recently received a prestigious national honor. Principal Jeanette Wright of Baldwin Arts and Academic Magnet is joining us. You're going to get a wonderful certificate suitable for framing, but more importantly, you're going to get 2 of these.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's awesome.
And Chad brought a change of clothes, so as soon as the meeting's over, he's going to go hang these up. Yeah, at least.
wow.
Baldwin is one of 5 schools in the state to be named a Blue Ribbon School for 2019. This recognition is based on the school's overall academic progress and progress in closing achievement gaps among student subgroups. Baldwin is the 6th MPS school to receive a Blue Ribbon status over the years. As the school name suggests, of course, Baldwin has both the arts and an academic component, and it manages to excel at both of those. And not only are they one of only 5 schools in the state to get this honor, but Baldwin is one of only 312 public schools out of thousands across the nation chosen by the Department of Education as a Blue Ribbon school this year. Congratulations to Mrs. Wright and the teachers, staff, and students at Baldwin. Let's give them another round of applause, and then Jeanette's going to say a few words.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
I just want to say that this wasn't really about me. It was about my students who work so hard every single day, and my teachers who also work that hard, and my parents who always make sure that they are prepared for school and that they are supported. Our parents support their children, but they also support us. So thank you to all of the, oh, and I asked Ms. Perry, the assistant principal, to come up, so please come up here. This is her first year at Baldwin. I think she wants to stay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wright. Next up, we have our Employees of the Month. Will Maria Glover, Bonseal Johnson, and Principals Tori Enfinger and Vince Johnson please join us?
I'm sorry.
Mrs. Glover is a first grade teacher at Davis Elementary. She serves as grade level chair and motivates both her students and her colleagues. Ms. Glover looks for innovative ways to help her students learn. She keeps her parents informed and sets an example for other teachers in her school and the district. Principal Tori Enfinger says she sets the stage for success every day with a smile on her face, and her comments to her students, staff, and parents are always positive and endless. So let's give her a big round of applause. Mrs. Johnson has been with MPS for 15 years, at Floyd Middle Magnet for 10 years. Before joining Floyd, she was a custodian at T.S. Morris Elementary School. She's known to everyone as the mother of the school. Students know that Ms. Johnson will let their parents know whether their behavior is good or needs improvement. That's outstanding. She also has a sparkling reputation for keeping the school spotless. Principal Vince Johnson said he has received many comments about how clean the building is. She rarely takes off work and opens the school each morning for students and teachers. Let's give her a great big round of applause. I was over at Floyd not too long ago, and boy, it was just as clean as a whistle over there. Most of these treasured employees received a gift card worth $25 from Target, courtesy of our friends at Baptist South and Baptist Health. And with that $25, perhaps they can purchase a frame for their certificate, which is suitable for framing. Again, let's give them a great big round of applause for their hard work.
That's funny.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
is she? KT isn't here. Is she? She's here.
These are our rules and procedure for public participation in board meetings. Public comments. Requests must be made in advance in writing to the superintendent's office by 4:30 p.m. on the Tuesday preceding the meeting date. Requests must have specified the nature of the business to be taken up with the board and the name of the person who will address the board to be added to the agenda. Communications must be respectful. Discussing specific student or employee matters will not be allowed. Individuals who have concerns that are inappropriate to be solved in this venue are welcome to seek a problem-solving meeting with the superintendent. Immediate feedback by the board may not be provided. However, you may be contacted for follow-up by the superintendent or designee. Public comments may not exceed 5 minutes. The board chairman has full authority to terminate the remarks of any person whose comments contain personal attacks, exceed the time limit, or otherwise are inappropriate. A speaker may be considered disruptive who continues to speak when their allotted time is ended. When asked to stop speaking by the board chairman or is otherwise inappropriate. If a person fails to comply when asked to terminate comments, he or she will be escorted to their seat out of the auditorium and off of MPS property, depending on the level of disruption. These comments are similar for public comments and for citizens' comments. Scheduled public comments, Ms. KT Brown, our children. She's not here. So we'll go to citizens' comments. Leo Martin, famed BTW.
Good evening. My name is Lil Martin, and I'm a Montgomery resident and taxpayer and have been associated with BTW for many years. My children are graduates, and I'm currently the famed board treasurer. Regarding the purchase of Holy Cross Campus, rumored to be the future home of BTW, we stakeholders have some questions, a few of which I would like to present this evening. First, what is the actual high school student capacity at Holy Cross? Second, is this campus suitable for the expansion of BTW, one of the highest performing high schools in the state, or will it be limited in the future by the capacity choices now being made? 3, what is the timeline for renovations and actual relocation? Can the class of 2022, the freshman students in August 2018 when the fire occurred, be able to count on graduating from a school that has physical facilities that help them reach their arts magnet academic education? Will MPS engage architects who specialize in the design and build of art schools, given the unique needs for space, soundproofing, flooring, etc.? Are you planning to engage teachers, administrators, and even students to make sure abstract solutions are avoided in favor of practical solutions identified by the end users? Is there a conceptual plan to build a performing arts center on the available land? And finally, is there a secondary plan for the utilization of the campus if it's determined that this purchase is not, in fact, good for an arts magnet high school? These are some of the questions we feel need to be asked and answered. I want to thank you for your time and your attention. Have a good evening.
Madam Chair, if I may just We don't normally respond in this context, but let me just say this. The facility that's there now, we all know that it will not accommodate a school, a high school. We all know that. So that's why we are looking at purchasing the whole 18 acres so that we can utilize our funds that are provided through insurance, and we have a deadline on that. And so, yes, and already people from the school, the principal and others have been involved with the architects several years back with their ideas about what they would like to be able to do there. And so in the future, yes, conceptually, all of that will be continued. I've said this to the board, and I'll say it again. I've built 9 schools from the ground up, performing arts schools, Lee High School, Magnet in Huntsville, if you've ever seen that, is huge. That we don't need a huge school for 400 students, however. But yes, I'm very well versed in how to do that and how to make it work and how to involve the people who will be utilizing that facility. And so, yes, that is definitely going to be in the works, as it has already been prior to any purchase of any property down the road or tonight.
Okay. Thank you. Next, Mr. James Lucas, guest. Okay. Pastor Jamal Brown.
Thank you, Ms. Chairman. I have a plan. That's so disrespectful for you to take a deep breath, but we know you're a disrespectful person. I have a plan. I can talk to whoever I want to. You're a public figure.
Let me say this, sir. I did
You
not
took a
take
deep breath when I started
toward
talking.
you.
Sir.
I may have
You-
been breathing, but not toward you.
I have a plan for this school on number 8. The charter school folks are here. They still here. Let's purchase the property. Let's go ahead and purchase the property, Madam Chairman. I'm not breaking no rules. Let the chairman rule the board. The chairman got control of the board. Let the chairman can tell me when to
Sir,
stop.
are you speaking
On H, approval to purchase Holy Cross and Episcopal School property. I'm
Okay.
going to tell you my plan about it. They ought to let the chairman control the board. The superintendent, this ain't the superintendent, Miss Mitchell.
Sir.
So don't let her try to
Sir, you're using your
persuade you.
minutes.
That's fine. Let me use my minutes how I want to use it. Give it, don't Jamel me, give it to the charter school folk. Let District 1 them get together and put their charter school plan on there instead of going to the west side and putting them at the 3 black schools, Davis, Bellagraph, and E.D. Nixon. We got money to purchase a school, but not enough money to take care of the mold problem over there at South Lawn Elementary School. That's sad. But that's the plan. Purchase the building and put a charter school there. You don't have to come to Davis. You don't have to come to Bellagraph, and you don't have to come to E.D. Nixon. Dr. Moore, we thought Doug Moore beat Roy Moore last year, 2 years ago, but I guess he didn't. I guess he didn't.
Sir, you're out of order at this time.
What point I'm out of order?
You called, you're talking about something that's not on
Okay,
the
I'll
agenda.
subtract that and go back. And let me ask you something. Be careful how you deal with me now, 'cause I may win in March and be up there with you all.
Sir, that's not on the agenda.
That's not on the agenda.
No,
I may
sir.
be up there in March. It's time to save the kids. I ain't playing fair, and we can't play fair. It's time for real change in Montgomery County. And I'm going to keep on bringing hell to this board, if you like it or not. Who's going to stop me?
Thank you so much.
Who's going to stop me? We need to save these kids. Y'all sit up there and playing with these kids. That's all y'all do is play
Thank you
with the
so
kids.
much.
All y'all do is play with the
Sir, at
kids.
this time, you are out of order. Your time is
All
up.
y'all do is play
Thank
with
you
the
for your
kids.
comments.
All y'all do is play
Your
with the
time
kids.
is up. and
All
thank
y'all
you for
do
your
is
comments.
play with the kids.
Thank you, sir. Please escort him out.
Out. Thank you. You still have the money problems? You once told me you need my help for the moment.
At this time, we will receive as information the AF card review from Mr. Bernard Mitchell.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Superintendent, Moore, board members. When you have great news, you want to keep sharing it, right? So here's just a brief overview of the A3F report card that Board Member Mitchell have already shared. But since it's great news, I want to say it again, if it's okay. Now, on next board meeting, we'll go more in detail because we'll have all the data to share everything. And Ms. Holloway will be here on that day to share more. So here's what we want to do. We want to show a pictorial representation of what was shared earlier. Now look at 2016, 2017, which is 2 years ago, and move forward to the left. And what I love about this picture, you can clearly see that starting with the Fs, we went from 15 to 13 to 6. That should be a round of applause or something. And like you said as well, every magnet school made an A. And last year, only 6 made an A. So even there, we're making great improvement there as well. If you look at the bottom down here, these are all the indicators on the report card. If you look from the left, 16, 17, from the right, 16, 17, to the left, you also see improvements in academic achievement from 45.21% to 50.89% to 51.06%. Now, we do know that there is still room for improvement, but we want to celebrate that we are, as our mantra says, moving forward. You want to click. These are all the indicators and their weight on the report card. Achievement, academic achievement is 20% of the report card. Academic growth is 25 or 30, based on whether or not we have 20 students in the progress with EL. The grad rate is 30%. College ready is 10%. Chronic absenteeism is 10%. If we do not have 20 students with EL, then it moves to the academic growth category. And so we wanted us to know that. As we move forward next year, we will not be doing the performance series anymore. We'll be moving to the ACAP. That's at the very bottom down there. But the standards for teaching and learning will remain the same. So we still want to be standards-based. If you look at the next page, it identifies if you are in a K-8 school, the weight for achievement is 40%. The weight for growth is either 40 or 45 based on that same end count of EL students. Absenteeism is 15%. Again, we'll be moving to the ACAP on next year. So what are we doing? We want to make sure that we have 3 laser focus all year, that we are standards-based in our instruction. We're teaching what matters to students every day. We want to make sure that we're student-centered. The student is the focus of what we're doing every day. And then we want to make sure we're teaching with a strategy, strategic teaching. And we have all of the components there that identifies that. It's so important that no matter what assessment we have, we're going to do these 3 laser focus moving forward, if you will. Next slide. So here's the key. To be college and career ready, you got to be current grade ready. And then next grade ready. So we want to make sure that we're looking at every class at every school to see that we're current grade ready. And then next grade ready, so we can be prepared for college and or the workforce. Last slide, are there any questions? And I want to share the website. Yes.
Okay, just real quick, clarify this for me. The C that we had this time does not include the 11th grade ACAP ACT.
It does not.
There's no ACT in that.
It is. It's
But next year there will be.
Well, for the grade and that we have currently, it was based on elementary and middle Scantron performance series.
Right.
And in high school, ACT.
ACT was in there.
Yes.
Okay.
Next year, it'll be ACAP, elementary and middle, and still remain ACT for the high school. So I want to show this website because we don't want to hide anything. It is out there. So if you want to look at any school system or any school, you can go to the website on the alsde.edu, look on a report card, and you can look at any school or school system to see where they were for any year that you want, I think from 2012 moving forward. So if you have a desire to see whether or not what is happening is real, you can go ahead and look for yourself. Are there any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Mr. Mitchell, we appreciate it. And I want to say, we're really proud of our students and our teachers and our parents and everybody who was involved in helping to make this happen. And we're very strategically, I want to say that also through Mr. Mitchell's department and the people who work with him, very strategically helping our schools and our teachers and our principals understand how you need to address the things that are shown on the report card, so that we're just not teaching and, walk in the room, start teaching. We actually are strategically looking at things that need to happen, and they're doing a great job of it, and the schools are responding, and I think that's why you see a change in our performance. And so thank all of you so much for your support.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. This time, Mr. Salter, the school calendar for 2021.
Thank you, ma'am. The one thing I know about the school calendar is I'm not going to make anybody happy. We're not going to make anybody happy. We have this year, we have this draft calendar, which I think you've all received in your packet. And after we talk this evening, this will go on the website tomorrow so that parents can take a look at it. The teachers have had 2 weeks to look at it and respond. And we had 63% who liked it just the way it is. And then the rest of those who responded had a variety of suggestions. Most of them were around making spring break later. The problem with making spring break later is that we get into April, which means that our kids are in testing, and the educators tell us that they want to have at least a week of school after spring break so that kids get back into the school vibe before they start testing. There was also a request that we have a fall break like Elmore County does. The problem is Elmore County has 178 days in their calendar. We have 180 days in our calendar, and so that 180 school days won't let us make that work. Unless, of course, we extend the calendar beyond Memorial Day, and you would see my head on a pike out here if we went to school past Memorial Day. So it's really exciting to try to get everything in and to make people happy. There were a couple people who wanted to shorten Thanksgiving and Christmas breaks. That would definitely cause some response from those who don't believe that we should. Some wanted to move the parent visitation to October. You'll notice that we have parent visitation for next year, this draft, as the 18th of September. We normally do it in October, since October is National Parent Visitation Month. The issue with that is it's National Parent Visitation Month because most states don't have as many days as we do, or they start later, and so it makes more sense for them to have it in October. But the educators and the committee suggested we move it to September, which is right after the first information is sent home, the first progress report. Thank you. The first progress report is sent home, rather than October, which would be after the first 9 weeks report card. The principals that were in the committee especially were vocal about that, saying that by that time it's too late, that we need to have our parents in our schools earlier so that they can respond and talk to teachers about their children's work before that. There were a few people who said we shouldn't start on Monday. Again, we could move it later, but if we do, that means we lose a holiday, or it means that we go later than Memorial Day. So that was the short version of the comments that we got, the ones that had several responses. I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can about the draft. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a comment. I had several people come to me and complain about this, and my first question was, I knew there was a survey, you've answered it by, the 63%, and I agree that we're not gonna please everybody, so I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
I'm stuck on that. I found, if I looked at a trend, the elementary, teachers were the ones that didn't like this the most. The high school teachers that I liked, or that I talked to, were okay with it. And I think one of the things that, the fact, you brought up a lot of stuff that they said, so my trust issues are like, I feel better about what you said, because they said the same thing. The only thing that you didn't bring up that I tend to agree with them just a little bit. I like the parent day, but the day of service, even though I think it's a great, wonderful thing to do, they were bringing up how many people will actually go and do that day of service. And they felt like, their biggest complaint was that they were going to the end of May.
Well,
I'm gonna go with you 60. They were going to May 31st or whatever.
yes, ma'am. Well, we normally get out the day before, or a couple days before Memorial Day. I've been here 15 years, it's been that way. I think one year we actually went into June, but other than that, we've gotten out just before Memorial Day. As far as the days of service, there are a couple of reasons that they are where they are. One is those days traditionally we have high absenteeism because of events that are happening. One is a football game and one is Good Friday. And so those were the dates we chose so that we could allow students who want to and teachers who want to, it's all volunteer, to do some service, but it also helps us in terms of having more effective days in the classroom because we have fewer absenteeisms on those days.
And as Lisa said, I am glad to hear that most of what you reiterated were things that I'd heard, but basically from elementary principals more so, and teachers. But I was told that you did not respond. So if you're telling us now the questions, I am sure that you did respond.
Yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, I sent an email to every employee with the major points that employees had made and the reason that we picked those dates. And I'll be happy to share that with the board if you'd like to see it. But it was more in depth than this. Of course, I shared everything with the superintendent. And she looked at it before this final draft was brought forth.
I would say in the
We got
future,
it in
if you
email.
would send us that.
We got it in an
It helps
email.
us give them an
Lisa,
answer.
we got it in an email. It was sent to us too.
Sent us,
Oh, okay.
We have copies of it.
Why do we have more days than like Elmore and Otaga? Why, and you said some other districts, we have more
Well,
days.
Elmore and Otaga, I know Elmore for sure because I've seen the letter. I'm not sure about Otaga. But Elmore County asked for, what do you call it, Dr. Moore, a special dispensation from Superintendent Mackey to reduce their number of days. I know that Superintendent, we're all focused on classroom achievement and on kids' learning. And so the more days that we have in school, the better.
Sure.
And so they may reduce their days, but they have to make up the hours. So if they have 178 days, their days may be a little bit longer.
Okay.
So the equivalent of 180 days. And so you have to get special permission from the state superintendent, and you have to explain what it is you're going to do and why you want to do it that way. So they make up the hours just within those number of days.
Okay.
Any other questions? Well, this will go on the website tomorrow with an opportunity for parents and the community to provide us with feedback. And then I'll take that feedback to Dr. Moore, and then we'll present the final calendar to you in the November meeting so that you can vote yes or no. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Salter. All right, do we have a motion for the consent agenda as amended?
Okay, Madam President, on the consent agenda, it should be A, B,
No. I took
A.
H out.
A and A.
I mean,
Separately.
Yeah,
That's
as
what-
amended.
and B, we should also note that we had to remove S15, so in the motion, that should include taking out the S-15, and that's in the classified, not the certified. Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
This is where I do the minutes.
So, you can make it, I'll make it. Okay. Madam President, I move that we adopt the consent agenda with the amended that I've done with the classified personnel, pulling S-15. And that would leave B, D, E, F, and G.
I second.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
The motion was made for the consent agenda excluding
Okay.
those two items that Lisa pulled.
All right.
And who seconded?
Can I get a
Brenda and
second?
Dr. Coleman
All right, it
seconded.
has been moved and proper. Second. Okay.
If I may intervene here,
Discussion
Jana
on-
has a correction to the minutes before we vote on those.
Right, a correction on the Tuesday, September 12th minutes. I was absent that day, so under the approval of the agenda, Bailey should be replaced with Smith.
Okay. All right, so. Okay, with the amended corrections, are we ready for the vote? All in favor, let it be known by raising your hand. So moved. Okay. All right, may I get, is there a motion for the certified personnel report?
Lisa, you,
Discussion, we're just gonna vote on it.
Okay. Let me make a recommendation.
Okay.
I recommend approval of the personnel certified report.
I make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the personnel report, certified personnel.
I second.
Okay, all right, are we ready? Are we ready for the question? We're ready to vote? Let it be known by raising your hands. Oppose?
Okay, we were voting on item H separately. I recommend approval to purchase Holy Cross Episcopal School property.
Madam Chair, I move approval to purchase Holy Cross Episcopal School property.
A second.
Okay, it has been approved, motion and second. Are we ready for the vote?
I thought we were gonna do discussion.
Discussion?
I want it stated, or at least on the record, that I am all for the purchase of Holy Cross. I've wanted to amend it, but, obviously that's not gonna happen, that we at least don't designate the school that we're going to be using. I want the people that are here that are representing BTW to note this. There are things that I didn't know, and I obviously don't think that y'all know, but time is of the essence. Whereas I felt like we had 2 years to decide how to spend that $7 million. It's not that. The school actually has to be built the majority of that school has to be built in 2 years. So we don't have the time to go and also another thing that was a deciding factor for me was the fact that you guys have been involved, and I've been told by several people, stakeholders, that you haven't been involved, and I find today today that you have been involved with certain architectural companies, and for that reason, I have to vote the way I'm voting because I feel like BTW should have a voice. And I'm believing the people that have talked to me that you haven't had the voice that you should. So I guess what I was assured is that you will have more of a voice. I don't think you've had the voice that you should have had. But I want you to understand that they have assured me that you will have more of a voice, that you will be more involved in it. But I am, honestly, I am all about this property. I think it's a great buy. But I understand your concerns and issues. And I'm a behaviorist. And I looked at the young lady that got up and spoke, and when the superintendent stated hey, y'all have been involved, your head was bobbing up and down, okay? And I was like, we can't discuss executive session, but my concern was, did they really speak? And when she said that, I did notice that there was an admonishment of, hello, we have been working with them. So I just wanted you to know, I think you will be involved. I think it's a good purchase, but on your behalf, I'm voting the way I do because I want to send a statement that I think you should be more involved in whatever decisions are made.
Okay. Are we ready for the vote? All in favor of voting for the approval of the purchase of Holy Cross property? Let it be known by raising your hands. All opposed? Okay, carried. Any further discussion? At this time, we are adjourned.